In this presentation, I will demonstrate how a change in teaching strategies can alter the learning that takes place within a classroom. I implemented my probability unit within my 6th grade class as I was studying Gatsky's theory of social constructivism. His theory discusses the impact that social interactions can have on learning. His concept of the zone of proximal development touches on having support for tasks that are too difficult for students to complete alone and having a leader guide them so that eventually the ZPD can be minimized and the child can complete these tasks without guidance. Scaffolding is a large part of the social constructivism theory and correlates directly to the zone of proximal development. Initially, teachers model and assist in evolving a child's learning and understanding of the topic, while teaching them to construct their own learning. As time goes on, the teacher provides less and less support, putting a larger responsibility on the child. Ultimately, students will be able to accomplish tasks independently. I demonstrated the lowering of the ZPD and scaffolding in my unit by beginning with notes, then implementing group worksheets, followed by partner work, and finally asking the students to complete center-based work independently. I began my probability unit by having the students copy notes from the board. Since we do not have a modern textbook, the 6th grade teachers have to supplement a lot of math material from websites and other textbooks. The notes that I used are from the Pearson's Course 1 online resources. The students followed along with me and filled in the missing information as we discuss each topic and example. Although this is a wonderful resource, the material is often in-depth and not as straightforward as other materials that I have used in the past. Once the students finished the notes, we completed a corresponding practice sheet as a class. I played a large role in teaching the material and guiding the students with step-by-step instructions and examples. I shared the thinking and academic responsibilities with the students, demonstrating how I would go about solving the problems. After a few days of guiding their learning each step of the way, I removed some support by allowing the students to work towards a goal with their table groups, intervening as I saw misconceptions. Their table groups consist of 5 other students, and I encouraged them to use their friends as resources to complete the tasks assigned. The group worksheets consisted of several problems that referred back to their notes and asked them to find the probability of several events. I walked around to each table and spent a great amount of time guiding each group through the questions. After a few group worksheets, I decided to provide the students with even less support and gave the children opportunities for partner work. The students were given 2 activities that involved a set of dice, a spinner, and a worksheet to complete. The first activity was to determine if the game was fair. Player 1 received a point if the difference of the dice was 0, 1, or 2, and Player 2 received a point if the difference was 3, 4, or 5. Students were asked to use the skills they learned throughout the group and classwork in order to be successful. I walked around the classroom and assisted the students that still needed the support because they were not developing further without guidance. After the activity, we had a great discussion on why the game was not fair, and students began to connect the information they learned through the manipulation of the dice and spinner. Although this was their first time manipulating objects to solve probability questions, the students still needed a great amount of support. For the last activity of this unit, I explained and created several probability stations that allowed the students to manipulate real-world objects in order to assist their problem-solving skills. I read the directions and pointed them to the locations of the stations and sent them on their way. There were 5 stations: a deck of cards, dice, blocks, candy, and spinners. Students were very engaged and proved that they did not need the teacher's support throughout the process. By guiding them through the initial worksheets and activities, they gained the confidence they needed to solve real-world problems individually towards the end of the unit. I provided an optional support station for them in which they could check their answers and work. By teaching them to check their answers prior to this activity, students learned that it is good practice to double-check their work. As I provided less and less support throughout the unit, the students took on more responsibility, allowing them to eventually solve probability problems without support. It was exciting to see them go about the room confidently and independently without the need of a partner or interventions. Along with assessing their understanding of probability throughout the station's packet, I also assessed each child's zone of proximal development throughout the lessons, backing off as I felt necessary. All in all, I definitely learned a lot about the social constructivism theory. Students are capable of a great amount of learning and understanding if we provide support and social interaction at the beginning of units and slowly fade away. I plan to continue being aware of the zone of proximal development and scaffolding more consistently next school year. Since I will not be there to help the students understand concepts in 7th grade or on standardized tests, I want to scaffold their learning as much as I can so they feel successful at tasks they complete independently in the future.